Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo.
I might not have the best hearing, but I think I hear the clock. That means it's time for the Mafia Minute, where every second is precious to Bills Mafia. And how precious? We're not even talking about like the boy Gollum and his ring. No, we're talking about Jamie G in his Josh Allen rookie card. I mean, the precious. I am Magna Mills. I am here to intro Jamie G and the Mafia Minute. If you like the show, if you enjoy it, please make sure you don't forget the flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, on the YouTube. Helps us out a lot. Helps people find our show. Find us on social media at CSGAPFF, as we are presented by CSGAP Fantasy Football. JBG, I believe this week y'all are traveling across the pond, as they say, to play in the London against a Jaguars team that's already been over there for a week plus, so their body clocks are straight. They're walking around, they're seeing Big Ben, they're eating the bad food or whatever it is over there, drinking the warm beer, having a good old time. Meanwhile, Bill's got to fly across there, reset their body clocks. How's this all going to go, man?
I'm actually remaining cautiously optimistic on the travel piece of this, okay? And here's why. I wonder, just part of me wonders, and maybe this is me wearing Bills colored glasses, but I wonder if staying there for 2 weeks is more dangerous and more harmful and can hurt you more than coming in on a Thursday night and being there for a couple of days. I get the whole concept of, oh, well, they've been there and they've used to it. Yeah, but they've also been away from home, their families, their comforts for 2 weeks. They're also out on the town. I don't know that I love this. You know, if I understand the logic of trying not to fly back and forth, and if you got to play 2 in a row there, that really, you know, you kind of have to. But I don't know that it's better than the Bills showing up. You know, I think they flew out Thursday night of this week. They'll get there early Friday morning and kind of have, you know, be able to get some, you know, go through Friday, get some sleep, and just hopefully reset the clock that way. So I'm hoping that it's being there for 2 weeks is more detrimental than flying in on Thursday night.
So how long do you plan to stay on Mars?
2 weeks.
Have you brought any fruits or vegetables onto the planet?
2 weeks.
Well, if we learned anything from Total Recall, it's that when you go to Mars, they ask you if you brought any fruits or vegetables onto the planet, and then you just keep saying 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Shout out Total Recall. If you haven't seen it in a while, you should. And I mean, sometimes London feels like Mars, right? It's like a totally different planet over there. How about the game itself, man? Ed Von Miller, do you think he will play, and do you want him to play?
I think he will, but I think if he gets there, it's going to be extremely limited snap counts. There's no point in rushing him back and having him re-aggravate anything. Defensive line's been playing really well up to this point. Now, one piece of injury concern is in the back half of that game against Miami, Ed Oliver got pushed down and went knee first into the foot of Gregory Rousseau. He has not practiced Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So not great. We definitely don't want to be without Gregory Rousseau. That could force maybe the Bills to say, you know what, let's dress Von and get him out there in kind of obvious third down passing situations. I don't expect to see him, you know, start the game and be all over the field. I think if he plays, it's going to be in limited capacity. And I think that's a smart thing to do. Protect him from himself here a little bit. And make sure he's ready to go come November, December, January, and hopefully February.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think if they put him on the plane, I would say it's probably closer to him playing than not, because just even time zones, playing football, just taking a long flight like that messes you up. It really does. And if he wasn't, you know, I think 100% comfortable where he's at, you see that a lot of times, guys. When you get an ACL surgery or something, you can't travel for a while. They try to keep people off planes. You've seen dudes having to, was it Jordan Poyer who had to take the bus before, right? When someone had to take the bus to the game because they couldn't even fly because of an injury. So the fact that they let him take a transcontinental flight, I think speaks highly, but my guess is call it 15 snaps. Probably in that ballpark, 10 to 15 snaps. Maybe they call it 8 to 10, 8 to 12, and he sneaks out there for 15, 16, something like that, mostly on third down, maybe, you know, in the red zone package or something like that. And, you know, just hope to get his feet wet a little bit, so to speak, I would guess.
I think so. And I think that the Bills' defensive front matches up pretty well against the Jaguars' offensive line. I think this is a place where the Bills need to win, is in where they've been winning the last 3 weeks is winning the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. And if they want to win in London against Jacksonville, they got to do the same thing. Last time the Bills played Jacksonville, it was in Jacksonville, and it was a horrible game. I think it was like the final score was like 6-9. There wasn't a touchdown scored in the entire game. It was absolutely horrendous. The other Josh Allen had an outstanding game. We're hoping he has a terrible game. This is the only week you'll ever hear me say I hope Josh Allen has a bad game. And I'm talking about Josh Allen on Jacksonville. So I think keys to the victory for the Bills this week are definitely going to be controlling the line of scrimmage, both on the offensive line and the defensive line. And they've got to do what they've continued to do defensively. They got to get pressure on Trevor Lawrence. They got to confuse him, try to keep him in the pocket and get some hits on him. And I think if they do that, turnovers will happen, 3rd and long will happen, and 3 and outs will happen. They'll get off the field and give the ball back to the Bills offense.
Nice. Give me who gets a kind of random touchdown for the Bills this week? Kincaid, Knox, Latavius Murray, Damian Harris, Shakir. I mean, who's scoring the random touchdown, the fantasy vulture touchdown this week?
Got to be Dalton Kincaid. How fitting would it be that his first touchdown comes 5 weeks in, and it comes in London? Still won't even have a touchdown on American soil. I gotta believe he will. I think the mismatches really lie on in that 12 personnel, and so I'd like to see Kincaid until he gets it. I'm going to bang the table for Kincaid every week and say it's going to be his time. Wouldn't also surprise me to see Deontay Hardy or Trent Sherfield get in the end zone at some point. They've been really kind of using Hardy a lot. For the first couple of weeks, they kind of kept using the screen game, hitting them like that on these quick outs. But then last week against Miami, this is why I love the evolution of Ken Dorsey. Josh Allen on the first touchdown to Gabe Davis fakes to Hardy and then immediately turns, and he's got Gabe Davis wide open. Everyone bid on that because that's what's been shown on tape. So I really appreciated that. But it wouldn't surprise me to see one of those two guys get in the end zone. Josh Allen absolutely loves Trent Sherfield, wants to get him involved. The coaching staff loves the speed and versatility of Deontay Hardy. Wouldn't surprise me one of those two guys sneaks in, and hopefully James Cook gets a second TD.
Would like to see all that. I mean, I believe that Dalton Kincaid's named after Patrick Swayze's character Dalton from Roadhouse, right? So Dalton on the road, Roadhouse. That does make some sense. But from a fantasy standpoint, I really were hoping you would say Dawson Knox because he is actually available in the league where I need a tight end, while Dalton Kincaid is not. So I was hoping for, I'm just looking for somebody to co-sign my desperation here, basically, I think is what it is.
Hey man, it's Dawson Knox a bit of a bob, I mean, just because there's so many other weapons in the Bills offense. It's not even that he's not open. It's not even that he's not capable. It's just that they're really, Diggs is going to do what Diggs does, but then outside of that, they're really spreading the ball around. And oh, by the way, now there's a running game. So they're not just dropping back 5 wide with Knox being one of those options 90% of the time this season. And it's worse for fantasy, better for Bills in actual, NFL, actual real football.
Well, yeah, I hope for the sake of the Londoners, y'all finally do give them a good game. I know you'd like to see the Bills just kind of, blow out another team or whatever, but it would be nice to give the London people a good game once in a while. The exhibition between the Jaguars and the Falcons last week was basically an exhibition. Not great, Bob. I think that kind of brings us to the tail of the tape here. You have the Bills traveling to London to face the Jaguars. Technically, they are the home team. They will at least be getting some of the gate, but yeah, not much of a home field advantage there. Game will kick off at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and this is an NFL Plus exclusive game. So if you have not figured out yet how you are going to watch it, you need to get on that. It will be on local TV in the Buffalo and Jacksonville areas. But other than that, if you don't have NFL Plus, find somebody who does. The Bills are favored by 5.5 points. Game total of 48.5, and the weather looks fine. Nice London weather, despite what Cousin Avi would tell you. Jamie G, before we do your score prediction for this week, we just got to look at how you did last week. You weren't off by that much on the Bills, off a little bit on the Dolphin side. You had Buffalo 35, Miami 31. The final score was Buffalo 48. Miami 20. You had them winning by 4. They won by 28. I guess you don't mind being off by a multiple of 7 there.
No, I do not. I didn't expect 3 straight blowouts, 3 straight games where Josh Allen and Diggs and some of the, half the starting offensive line, half the starting offense basically is on the bench, wearing ball caps, halfway through the fourth. That's happened 3 weeks in a row. We'll see if it happens again. I was pleasantly surprised last week. Look, I think that the situation is going to come down to, can the offensive line continue to do what it's done the last 3 weeks? And that's protect Josh Allen and create enough in the running game to get a balanced attack. If they do that, I think this offense is extremely difficult to stop. I don't think Jacksonville has an answer for Diggs. And even if they do, I don't think they have an answer for a patient Josh Allen taking what they give him. I don't know that many defenses do. That's not even a dig at Jacksonville. I just think they're really hard to defend. And so if they continue to be balanced in their attack, they continue to protect, I expect the Bills to score points. I just, I think anything short of, the Bills putting up points week in and week out is a disappointment, and something went wrong. And typically it would be they didn't protect. And we've seen Josh Allen create even when they don't protect, but it's a lot better when they do. So I think that's the first thing is control their defensive front, control the line of scrimmage. They do that offense is going to score. And then defensively, we've seen McDermott be very aggressive on defense, but he's done it through disguise, and he's done it through timed blitzes at the right moment. And it has pressure packages that hasn't always been obvious. At one point last week, we saw Daquan Jones, who's having a killer year, drop back into a middle linebacker position, both linebackers and a corner blitz. And it worked. It got pressure on third down. Tua couldn't go to his first read, panicked, and next thing you know, he's going down. So there's been a lot of really good stuff over the last 2-3 weeks with McDermott. It'd be interesting to see how they attack this offense. And I have a lot of respect for Dougie P. Doug Peterson, I think, is an outstanding coach, a really good offensive mind. Obviously won a Super Bowl with your Philadelphia Eagles. I know you're a big fan. So this is going to be a chess match between Doug Peterson and Sean McDermott. But I really think something's going on with McDermott, where he's like this feisty dude who's up for these challenges. And I think he's a great guy calling the shots here on defense. So if they can continue to do what they've done the last couple of weeks, I expect the Bills to not only win but cover. But I do think this game might be a little bit closer than I want it to be, just because of huge emotional win against a division rival. Now we got to go on the road. We're losing a home game. It's just primed for kind of a trap a little bit. Let's hope the Bills don't fall victim to it.
So let me recap this. So you think the Bills are going to score points every week? I think that's good for a football team. They should score points every week. You keep saying Sean McDermott in disguise, and now I just have a picture of him in my head wearing those fake glasses with a little fake mustache or something. And he's like, I am Mon Shigdermott or something like that, his little fake self. And then just shout out how good he is. That play where you drop the D tackle into the zone and then blitz both the linebackers, that play has been in the Madden playbook when you actually play the video game Madden. It is the most worthless defensive play every time. I don't think I've ever successfully, in calling that play 1,000 times, have had it work for me. So it's really cool. Shows you how good he is at calling plays, that he can make that POS play work for him. So, good for you, Sean. You have something slightly more specific than points.
To me, it comes down to this balanced attack, right? I mean, I don't think Josh Allen and Diggs are going to just go away, right? I mean, they're going to be a thing. As long as Josh is upright, has time, patient, I expect him to pick apart the defense and score, hopefully, every possession, or at least end every possession in a kick. Jacksonville's a good team, not to take anything away from them. But if the Bills' offensive line protects the way they have, I don't know how Jacksonville can slow down the Bills' offense enough to be able to then put up those type of points to beat them. So I think 5 points, 5.5 as the spread is fair. But if the Bills do what they do, they should win and cover.
So score prediction. Put actual numbers on it. Let's hear it.
I'm taking the Bills 31, the Jags 24. And I'm being conservative here. I don't know that the Jags will score 24, but I don't know. I don't think a team scored 24 on the Bills yet this season. That would be the highest scoring game of the season. We also don't have Trey White. We got, we're going to be, a new kind of corner in the starting rotation here. Poyer's still a little banged up, making a trip across country. We'll see what happens with, Leonard Floyd's got an ankle. He's expected to play, but now Gregory Rousseau's got a foot, so those are two starting linebackers. There's some, Bills are banged up a little bit. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm going to stick with my guns here. Go 31-24.
All right, and then finally, the question everybody wants to know, the big wager of the week here on the broadcast: who is going to get mentioned more, Taylor Swift or Mary Poppins?
I wish it was cousin Avi from Snatch. I really do. It's not going to be him. God, I'm going to say Mary Poppins just because Swift isn't going to be in the house, although she should be. She should go. Yeah,
I feel like the line said it over 1.5 mentioned, so I don't think it's a high bar to clear here. Probably.
I'm going to say Mary Poppins and fish and chips. That'll be up there as well.
You just like it because it has fish in it.
Yes, I do.
And hopefully you like this just because it has the Buffalo Bills in it. It's the Mafia Minute. It's all Buffalo Bills all the time. We really appreciate you checking it out. Again, please don't forget those flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. That's all we ask. If you had fun, make with the thumb. Presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football on social media at Seize the Gap FF, on the YouTubes, wherever you get your pods, all that good stuff. Going to London, coming back next week, Sunday Night Football after that. The Bills are staying busy. They're playing the island games. Hopefully they don't get lost. Jamie G, shout us out, man.
Hey, let's go. Bills make me want to shout. Go Bills. We'll see you next week right here on the Mafia Minute.